So I hadn't made a misfortune video in like 10 months and I decided to revisit her. And I really don't recommend you to skip this part at all. Listen to what I have to say. So I revisit misfortune. This right here is my old build. And I kind of came up with this build. Like I was just testing out every single item, crit misfortune, blah, 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 blah. And back then, 10 months ago, this was broken. Like I remember, if you haven't watched that video already, 10 months ago, the video has like nearly 70,000 views. I really recommend you to watch that video because in that video, I teach everything about misfortune, all the basics. And today I revisited her. So when I revisited her, I tried out, the different builds, all the builds that I'm seeing. Because if we, you know what? With you guys, I'm just going to look at some of the top misfortune builds because oh boy, do I have something to tell you about misfortune. Let me see. Misfortune. So let's look at the top builds. I'm not saying they're trash, but let's look. This guy goes Essence Reaver, Cerulous Grudge. This guy goes Essence Reaver, Navori Quickblade. This guy goes Essence Reaver, Navori Quickblade. Essence Reaver, Navori Quickblade. That seems to be the main build. And then this guy goes Mana Mune, right? Like everyone is going for these. There it is. Someone is going for Duskblade. Duskblade, Navori. But no one is going for the build that I go for. Everyone seems to be going for that Essence Reaver. And it makes sense. You could think like, okay, it makes sense. Essence Reaver, your first ability, every time you hit it, it does the bonus damage of the Essence Reaver, right? And let me tell you, this is not ideal. Take a look at how much bonus damage it is. Let's just actually take a look at it. 10 bonus physical damage plus 70% crit rate. Let's say you have 100% crit. The best situation in the game. If you have 100% crit, this does 80 physical damage, okay? Now let's take a look at something else. Let's go to the Duskblade of Draktar. How much damage does this do? 125 in the late game, at the same time of you having 100% crit. This does more damage, and on top of it, this also slows the enemy. And on top of it, this gives more attack damage, and on top of it, this gives flat armor penetration. But hells, this item only procs when the enemy doesn't see you. That's correct, you have to play around it. But I tried out all these builds. Like I tried out Essence Reaver, I tried out Mana Mune, and then like I forgot about my build. That was the funniest thing. I had literally forgotten about my build. I tried out all of those builds and it was not working. Like every time I played MF, it didn't go well. I just didn't understand. Like, am I bad on this champion? Why is it not working? Like I am so good at misfortune. I remember from 10 months ago, I was incredibly cracked at this champion. I had a 90% win rate on misfortune. And I just didn't get it. And that was until I retried my old build. And it is still the exact same as before. The exact same as before. So much damage. You will bully the hell out of your enemy. And the beauty is this build does much more damage with your ultimate as well. So how does the build go? You start with a Duskblade of Draktar. 55 attack damage. The beauty of this item as well. Next up, you either get a... So if you're snowballing, you get an Edge of Night. If you're not snowballing, you get a Cerulous Grudge. Or if you really need the slow, you get a Cerulous Grudge. The thing is, with Cerulous Grudge, you're sacrificing a load of damage as opposed to the Edge of Night. Because Edge of Night gives you the 8 armor penetration. And of course, more attack damage than the Cerulous Grudge. It also gives you the shield. The beauty of the shield is when you ult with a shield on, you're gonna stop the first CC ability. So your ult is more reliable, you can stop CC. So these are gonna be your first 3 items. The boots that you get have to be Glutinous Greaves. Pretty much every game. Like, honestly, even if the enemy has heavy attack damage, well, if they're full attack damage, sure, you can go for Plates, Latest 2 caps. But Glutinous Greaves really help misfortune. Like, they're super important with this build. With this build, 90% of the games try to get the Glutinous Greaves because you'll heal up like crazy. Fourth item is going to be Infinity Edge. The reason is because the second part of your first ability crits, so Infinity Edge is going to increase that damage, and your ultimate can crit as well. So the Infinity Edge is going to be worth it. And your last item is going to be a Guardian Angel. But make sure you stay alive in the late game. For your enchantment, you go for the Stasis enchant. Very, very good enchant on Misfortune. You go for Conqueror, Hunter Vampirism every single game. This one is situational. Adaptive Carapace is what I really like. It makes you strong in the early game in your lane. Otherwise, whatever you need. And here, Sweet Tooth or Mana Flow Band. If you're the type of person that really spams the hell out of your first ability, you go for Mana Flow Band. Sweet Tooth is generally better because it really allows you to dominate the lane. Like, you get healing, you get more mana in the early game with Sweet Tooth. You can really dominate your lane with this one. For your spells, you go for Flash and Exhaust. So enough about the build, which was a very important part of this video. Let's now get into the gameplay to show you how it worked. So, on to the gameplay. Fun fact, this was the very first game I played with my old build. You can even see I don't even have the build preset in the game. Because this game I thought like, what the hell? I'm just, you know what? I'm just gonna try my old build. I had little expectations of my old build. Because I thought it was outdated, right? I really thought, hey, this is not gonna work anymore. This is outdated. And I was against a Vayne. Misfortune is a pretty good pick into Vayne, but you have to know how to play it. The reason that I'm saying you have to know how to play it is because if you don't, basically, if you're not aggressive early game, you're gonna get dominated. Against a Vayne, you have to be aggressive. You have to destroy her. Have to. Have to. Like, literally have to. Look, this. This is what you have to do. The reason that Misfortune works well into Vayne, also works well into Lucian, by the way, is because Vayne has very low range. Look, she has to get close to the minions to attack it. Another quick thing, Misfortune counters Draven. Hard counters. It's much easier to play against a Draven because you don't necessarily have to win early game because you know you outscale a Draven. But against a Vayne, I don't really recommend you to play Misfortune against Vayne, even though it counters it, because you truly have to be good at the champion. Like, look at how I'm playing. If you really want to master Misfortune, this is the right video. I'm gonna be giving you a lot of advanced stuff in this video. If you want beginner tips, I recommend you to watch my old Misfortune video from 10 months ago. So how am I playing against this Vayne? Also, good thing to know is it's good to have like a very obnoxious support with you. Like Thresh, for example. Karma, I don't really recommend, even though I have it. I don't really recommend having Karma. Like Thresh is so much better because with Thresh you can catch out the enemy and destroy them. But just look at what I'm doing. Either Vayne or Nami. I'm trying to hit either of them with my first ability through a minion. Basically, the hitbox, it doesn't show, but it's like a cone. Like a cone. I think it's called a cone. You know, like ice cream, you put it in a cone. It's basically like a cone, the hitbox. A cone behind the minion. So the enemy has to be within that cone to be able to hit them with your first ability. I would have loved to see the hitbox of this cone, but they don't. So, boom, look, I hit the Vayne there. Vayne is now one shot from me. If I hit her with one more first ability, she's gonna die. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this under the wave. Another quick tip with Misfortune is try to not hit the same target 2 times in a row. Try to hit multiple targets, like every time, you know, turret, minion, Vayne, Nami, Vayne, Nami. Reason is because you're gonna do so much more damage. Boom, I killed her there. You see that? She was behind the cone, she screwed up, and I killed her. She was trying to bait me for the Tryndamere. Little did she know I already had vision on the Tryndamere. So, the way you can see I'm hitting minions is I'm hitting different minions every time. And even when you push turret, the way that you push turret is, of course, you use your second ability for the attack speed. You hit the turret, but every time your first ability is available, you shoot your first ability on a minion. You don't do turret, minion, turret, minion, turret, minion. You hit the turret exclusively, but every time you got your first ability up, you hit a minion. Because your first ability applies on-hit effects, so you will get the bonus damage on the turret. Now, if you didn't understand what I was talking about here, you'll see when I'm pushing the turret what I'm talking about. I would definitely say that Misfortune is one of the hardest ADCs to play in the game. For sure. Like 100% she's one of the hardest ADCs. Reason being is because you have to be aggressive. Against a lot of ADCs, you get like, they will outskill you. And like, okay, this was I guess this was a good ultimate. It was decent. Not amazing, but just decent. Let's see what happens here. Boom. This is not ideal for me, but I'm still... So early game, I will still win against Vayne with just basic attacks. But when we reach the mid game, I will not win that anymore because Misfortune does low single target damage. She's dead again. She does good burst damage, so Misfortune does great burst damage, and of course her ultimate is amazing. But actual 1v1s, you know, if you're against Lucian or Jinx or something in an actual 1v1, you're likely not gonna win. Because they just, you know, they do way more damage in 1v1s. You have to understand that thing about Misfortune. She's not built to, like, do a lot of 1v1ing damage. That is also why you don't build things like Blade of the Noon King on her, because it just doesn't make any sense. The build that I have right here is all about damage on the first ability, damage on the, how do I say this? The passive of Misfortune, you know, when you hit a new target, you do a lot of damage, and damage on her ultimate. These 3 things, keep that in your head. So what is it about? First ability, burst damage with your basic attack, you know, the damage on a new enemy, I should say, and ultimate. These 3 things. So not sustain damage, we're not talking about any of that, right? No sustain damage. First ability, new enemy, and ultimate. So you need to try to play to those powers. You know, hit a new enemy every time. Hit your first ability. Hit the burst damage. So like if I hit Vayne one time and she hits me one time, it's worth it. I will very likely outtrade her. Because my basic attack hurts like a truck. But after the basic attack, I'm not gonna hurt like a truck anymore, and Vayne is gonna hurt me. Even if you're like, look, boom, this, you see that? That is my power. But if you look at it, this is the perfect example. This is a sustained fight. Look at what's happening. I would have lost the fight. So if I didn't have a turret, I would have lost the sustained fight. I'm actually gonna rewind this real quick because I really want to put this in your heads for Misfortune. Because a lot of people don't seem to know how to play Misfortune. So let's rewind it real quick. Look at the burst damage that I did to Vayne. Just look at the burst damage. Exactly what I was talking about. First ability and the burst damage. Look. I want you guys to look very carefully what happened here. Wait for it. So, okay, look at burst damage. Boom, boom. That's 40% of her health. 40%. But after that, look, after that, I don't win anymore. You see that? The only reason I won is because I flashed under my turret and I still won. But after that, you don't win anymore. And that is the one big reason why people say Misfortune sucks. Now, the thing is, if you're forced in a situation like, oh, this is how you push turrets, by the way, look, turret, I keep hitting the turret exclusively. But I will just use my first ability on the minions. That's what I'm doing. But what I just showed you right then and there with the Vayne, that is the number one reason people say Misfortune sucks. And to that, I agree to a certain angle, because in high elo, it's hard to play Misfortune. And, you know, Misfortune is broken in low elo. If you know how to play this champion, she's absolutely broken in low elo. But in high elo, she's just okay. And she's only okay. Well, no, she's good in a good draft, but in an average game, she's just okay. She's not gonna hard carry games. It's like Jhin, for example. He only works in certain drafts, but he's not gonna hard carry the game. Like, you can be, for example, today I was 6-0 on a Jhin, but I didn't win the game because my Rammus was 0-9, my mid lane did nothing. If I was 6-0 on Jinx, I would carry the game. If I was 6-0 on Vayne, I would carry the game. Misfortune is not the type of champion to carry the game like that. Keep that in mind. You see that? There it is, the power. The poking, the new basic attack, that's the whole power. So as a Misfortune as well, another thing to understand, you can use minion waves and jungle camps and dragon to your power. Now, what do I mean with that? For example, the enemy is taking the dragon. That is an ideal team fighting situation for Misfortune. Why, you may ask, is because every time you can use your first ability on the dragon, and it's pretty much 90% gonna hit an enemy, because all of the enemies are gonna be grouped up at the dragon. So every time you shoot your first ability on the dragon, it's gonna hit an enemy. And it does a load of damage. It does so much damage. So every time, boom, 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 first ability, you keep hitting them with that massive first ability damage. Especially if you go for my build, because Duskblade of Draktar, they won't see you every time you will proc that bonus damage. And then as well, if the dragon is at a lower amount of HP, you will use your ultimate and you will destroy all of them. So those are powers of Misfortune. You have to play to her powers. Now, let me tell you some weaknesses. You don't want to be caught alone as a Misfortune in the late game. You know, when you play Lucian in the late game, if you're alone, you will kill the enemy. If you're Vayne, you'll kill the enemy. Jinx, you'll do okay, but you'll likely kill the enemy. Draven, you get it, you'll kill the enemy. Misfortune, you won't kill the enemy. Pretty much everyone is going to 1v1 you as a Misfortune. Unless you're like 3,000 gold ahead, you're not going to win the 1v1. It really doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter you got dragons. It doesn't matter that you're 2,000 gold ahead. You're not going to win. Unless you're like 4,000 gold ahead, you're not going to win. Look, Vayne, and now you see, it's just really not doing that much damage. You can clearly see the only reason I'm winning this fight, oh my god, Karma killed Panther, but the only reason I'm winning that against Vayne is, first of all, I exhausted her. Secondly, I am like 3,000 gold ahead of her. Like, I am literally like 3,000 gold ahead of her. That's the only reason I'm winning the fight like that. Otherwise, Vayne will destroy me. So what I need to do is I need to push my lead. I should not give a single chance to them to come back. You can see the way that I'm doing it is by taking the enemy jungle, by shoving waves. Keep in mind, Misfortune doesn't take jungle very quickly, unless you have a blue buff. Because if you can use your first ability all the time, you will take it quickly. I'm dead here. Like, look, I screwed up. I'm dead. I screwed up. I got caught by the Vayne. She pushed me into all. Yeah, I'm literally 4,000 gold ahead of her. That's why I won the fight. So in this particular game, I went for Edge of Night because I was snowballing. Again, if you're not snowballing, it's generally better to go for the that item. What is it called? The slowing eye, Cyril's Grudge. Another tip with Misfortune, drafting tip. You want to pick her with teammates that have good CC for your ultimate. For example, Karma, right? Like, Karma's not good in the lane with Misfortune because you can't be like super obnoxious. But she's good during team fights. You know, Karma's ultimate followed up with Misfortune ultimate is great. Malphite is great. Amumu is great. You know, these types of champions are great. And the reason that Thresh is like the most amazing is because Thresh also has his ultimate, which slows the enemy. On top of his obnoxious laning. Here you can see the power of the Glutinous Griefs. Like, you're pretty much always going to be full health when you get Glutinous Griefs on Misfortune. Because she does so much damage to waves and to jungle camps. The burst damage. So you can just randomly shoot at waves, randomly shoot at jungle camps, and you're going to be healing up like crazy. Like, look, I'm gonna be very proactive here. I'm gonna push out my wave, and I'm gonna try to look for another play right here. Because again, you don't want to be sitting back and farming as a Misfortune. That's the annoying thing about playing Misfortune. It's not a laid-back playstyle like any other champion in the game. It's like playing Draven, right? You have to do something. So right here, there's a team fight. Of course, I'm doing something. Let's take a look at what happens. My Vex is doing pretty well here. I'm making sure the Vayne cannot carry this. I'm just hard focused on the Vayne right there. And she's super low. She's probably gonna die. Yeah, there we go. Tryndamere though, he's probably gonna get an inhib because it's Tryndamere. He can use his ultimate. Why is no one going back to Tryndamere? I cannot kill Tryndamere. No one is going back to Tryndamere. Look at what they're doing. Hello, go back to Tryndamere. No one is going back. He's gonna get an inhib now because no one went back. I can't go back. He's just gonna kill me. Oh, this is a problem. Look, my Edge of Night blocks him out. He can't kill me. That's why I get Edge of Night, by the way. Here I can choose to help my team or get the blue buff. I was being greedy here, because I really felt like we couldn't win this fight, so I just went for the blue buff instead. After I get the blue buff, maybe I can help them, because I'll have mana. And I'll have my ultimate. So like now I could potentially help them. I want to go back and get my item though. They're probably gonna get this dragon, which kind of sucks for us. Like, this is the problem now. You can see I've been snowballing this game like crazy with Misfortune. But the enemy can always come back because you're just not a big DPS champion. Because those three things that I told you about earlier, DPS is not a part of them. So you either want to burst them down hard or someone else has to do the DPS. Because you're not going to do it as a Misfortune. You're just not. Unless you play a team fight perfectly, which is, constantly hitting another enemy. Like, a lot of, and that's not ideal, of course, to hit another enemy every time. But that's where your damage comes from. Every time hitting another enemy. That is a good ultimate, by the way. Oh my god. So, like, the power of an ADC is, focusing one champion. Oh my goodness, what is that damage? Focusing one champion and killing one champion, right? Like Jinx, you want to kill one champion and get your edge thingy. Every ADC really wants to do that, right? Like killing one champion and then go to the next one. Misfortune, no. You want to kill all of them at the same time, basically, which is, of course, not ideal. It's not ideal at all, because you want to kill them one by one. It's much better to do that instead of the way that Misfortune is played. But again, it is her power, so you want to do it. That's how you want to play it. And when you reach level 15 on Misfortune, the bonus damage on a new champion becomes 100%, which literally means 2 times more. So of course you're gonna have to hit a new enemy every time when that happens. In the early game, I believe it's like 20% bonus damage, which is of course still significant, right? I can kill her. Ooh, now Vayne, let's see. This is the real test. Vayne is 2 levels behind me. You see that? She's 2 levels behind me. Oh my god. Oof. She's 2 levels behind me and I barely won the 1v1. See how crazy that is? See how crazy that is? If you're caught in a position you're not good, you're not strong at. Unbelievable that I barely won that. But to be honest, Vayne is disgusting. Like, in my opinion, Vayne should just get deleted out of the game. Because this champion just can't be balanced. She's either broken or she's either, like, stupidly bad. I just think Vayne needs to be deleted because Vayne is just so stupid, the champion. It's just so unbelievably stupid. Like, I have a lot of Vayne videos. I honestly feel disgusting when I play the champion. Because it's so stupid how you can shred through a tank. And also how you can absolutely destroy a squishy in a 1v1. And how no one can catch you during your ult. It's disgusting, this champion. Just absolutely disgusting. And the reason that Cyril's Grudge is really good on Vayne, on Gwen, by the way. And also, a good tip on using your ultimate is use your third ability before you ult. Because your third ability already slows the enemy, and with a Cyril's Grudge is going to slow even more. So, your ultimate is going to be... You're going to hit your ultimate very, very easily. And Misfortune actually heals up more for minion waves than any other champion, because as I said, she does so much damage. So even when a minion has like 10 health, your crit is going to do like 900 damage to it. So you're going to be healing up based on the 900 damage that you did. That is why I keep telling you guys Glutinous Griefs is the way to go on Misfortune, 100%. I mean, you can even, by the way, you can even see the powers of Misfortune when attacking jungle camps, right? The first second, you're going to be bursting down like 25% of the health of the jungle camp. But then it takes you ages to finish it off. Ages. Uh-oh, everyone is low. But Vayne died, so that's good. My team did a great job there. They want to take Baron. I want to fight. I exhaust him. Look at that damage, guys. Come on. Look at that crazy damage. Ult? That could kill her. Oh, I'm pretty sure she's 1 HP. Pantheon is pushing. Oh, by the way, guys, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed. Put down a comment as well. I'm sorry for not doing any skin giveaways. You know what's funny? Skin giveaways are not only good for you guys, they're also good for me. Because my channel used to get like 1,000 comments every video. Because I gave away so many skins as well. But the Riot's skin gifting system has changed. It is so unbelievably trash now that I just don't want to bother. And as I said, I still have people that I have not gifted yet because my PayPal got blocked as well. I have like 2 people that I've not gifted their skin. So I'm not going to host another skin giveaway up until the day that I've gifted them their skins. And unfortunately, I don't have PayPal. I may fix it in the future, but I don't know. It would be smart though, because it's a win-win. You guys get skins, you know, my channel gets more comments and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe I should fix it. Yeah, maybe I should fix it. But I still, like, I could fix my PayPal, but then the skin giveaways are gonna cost me like 300-400 euros a month. They already used to cost me like 100 euros per month. But I get free wildcards from Wild Rift because I'm a content creator. If I only do it with PayPal, it would be hella expensive for me. Like, way too expensive. We should end the game here. Oh, but that damage, look at the damage, guys. It's crazy. If you hit that first ability of Misfortune, the damage is crazy. Look at that. Oh my god. Look. This is the build, guys. I'm telling you, this is the build. This is still the build. This is still the build. It hasn't changed. No Essence Reefer, no Mana Mune. I don't care about any of those items. This is the build right there. Better than 100%. Alright, that's good, I guess. Because no one plays Misfortune. Yeah. So yeah. Let's take a look at the damage. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye-bye.